bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening, Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? Today's Monday, April 4th, 2022. 94 days into the new year, only 271 days left. Let's do this, man. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of nowhere. A total undisclosed location, but it is beautiful in here. Oh, man. Another week about to kick off. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south. Far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer, and Unnext Network's Race Hobbs. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, this is a test. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. Race Hobbs, text to me on my phone right now. I want to know if you are listening to the show. I want to know if you're working. I want to see a text come in on my phone and say, yes, Jimmy, I'm working. That's all I want to see. Race Hobbs. Tonight, another amazing week here on Fade to Black. Tonight, live from Sweden, Peter Tagtgren of the band Hypocrisy, also of Pain. I wonder which band he likes better. I wonder which, I wonder if, one of the bands needs to book studio time and both got to happen at the same time. Who gets the nod? Is it Hypocrisy or is it Pain? Two different bands, two amazing bands. And he's the front man of both. Live from Sweden tonight, Peter Tagtgren is with us. Tomorrow night, yeah, you saw it tomorrow night. Flat Earth Dave. Yeah, man. Flat Earth Dave is here, and we are going to discuss if Flat Earth is still a thing. And that is tomorrow night. Looking forward to it, actually. We haven't done a Flat Earth show in like 5 or 6 years. And I'm ready for one, and I know you are too. So we're gonna kick the tires, light the fires tomorrow night with Flat Earth Dave. Is Flat Earth still a thing? Wednesday night, a huge night on Fade to Black. Every night this week is huge, but it's an honor and a privilege for me to have as my guest on this program, Mr. Don Ecker is going to be with us. And it's just amazing. I got Don Ecker on the show on Wednesday night. I mean, to say that, of course, Dark Matters Radio, and for those of you out there, Don from that, but Don goes all the way back to UFO magazine. And he has seen every side, researched every side, written about every side, published about every side of ufology, for a very, very long time. Don Ecker is with us, and that is Wednesday night. Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. All right. So I can't wait for this weekend. I'm just gonna leave that right there. I cannot wait for this weekend. Maybe I'll say a little something a little bit later, but a little bit later in the week. You know what's funny? So, I worked all weekend, and it was great. It was amazing, and got a lot done. And one of the things I have a couple of side projects, these big things I'm doing with Billy Carson. And all day yesterday, all weekend, but including yesterday, texting and getting stuff done and phone calls and emails and stuff and files getting exchanged, get you working, right? And I texted him this morning, and I go, dude, did you get the files or not? Because I texted him last night, and I said, okay, everything is sent, boom, and I got nothing. So I wake up this morning, it's early, first cup of coffee, and I got no response from Billy. And I'm like, did you get the file? He goes, yeah, man, I did. Sorry about that, man. I'm in Colombia. He flew to Colombia this morning. Colombia. Man. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Thought I'd share that with you. All right. Everybody wants their own crystal skull. You know you want yours. Did the unboxing video. I did it. I got the unboxing video done. And my new skull is amazing. Prophet. Look at that. Baby Einstein. Unboxed this. Oh. There's some vibes there. Look, he just glows, man. There's a lot going on inside of this skull. That's Prophet. You want yours. Go to EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. He's amazing. Look at that. EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Promo code Jimmy. Gets you 10% off of your next Crystal Skull order today. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Coming up this June 18th through the 22nd, Disclosure Fest. Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative 2022. It is 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Pacific time, one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles. Over 30 acres. It's absolutely amazing. 16 stages, 4 stages with musical guests, including Trevor Hall, the Desert Dwellers, and Porangui. And there's 16 stages total. We've got workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. All you have to do is go to disclosurefest.org. One-day event. It is ginormous. It is so much fun. And everybody's going to be there. Downtown Los Angeles. Absolutely incredible. So we'll see you down there, disclosurefest.org. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's all you got to do. At JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B on Twitter is the sandbox. It is live right in front of me. What is this? Nexus VR for Shizzle. I have to do my group workout that I host in VR. What? I want to see that workout. I want to see it. Oh, is it an avatar in VR, or is it really you in VR doing the workout? I would like to know. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see. If Coach is in Colombia, he's going to see The Rock. He forgot to pick me up. Yeah, I wonder what he's doing down there. All right. Where am I at? Hashtag F2B is the sandbox right there in Twitter. Oh, by the way, I did go to The Habit, and I posted a picture. I went to The Habit, and I just got their standard double charbroiled double cheeseburger with their caramelized onions, whatever it is. They're regular, just at the top of the menu. They got all kinds of wacky, custom burgers. But I just went for their signature burger and fries and a strawberry shake. I did do that, and it was good. As a matter of fact, I thought it was great. Is it In-N-Out great? No, it's not even a tie. In-N-Out is so far above everything else in the world. It's just way above everything else, but it was pretty good. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Huge breaking news was announced first thing this morning. I'm still having trouble digesting this because Tesla CEO Elon Musk has purchased a 9.2% stake in Twitter. All of this according to a filing from the SEC earlier today. Twitter's shares jumped more than 25% in price following today's news. Elon now controls nearly 73.5 million shares of the company, making him the largest shareholder, and individual stocks were priced at $49.81 this morning. The purchase comes roughly a week after the billionaire criticized Twitter, which I saw and read, for a lack of commitment to free speech. And his nearly 80 million Twitter followers encouraged him to buy Twitter's platform entirely. Just buy the whole thing or go and create your own. Monday morning, he takes control of the company. What does this mean? I don't know. Is he going to continue to buy shares? I don't know. He just took control of Twitter. Think about that. Last week, Jack Dorsey, I didn't reply to it. Jack Dorsey said, we're supposed to have a decentralized internet and we were supposed to have this freedom of thought and freedom of content. I'm paraphrasing, right? This apologetic, toned missive. And I thought, what's it? And he said, no, man, the internet is not that anymore. And I am partly to blame. He said something like that, and I was like, whoa, what kind of self-reflection thing is Jack going through? And does he have regrets? And apparently he does. So there you go. And then today, Elon takes control of the company. Still trying to figure this out. We will know more in the days and weeks ahead. Elon is still in the news today. Huge news. The International Space Station is set to become busier than usual this week when 4 new colleagues from Houston-based Axiom Space, the first all-private astronaut team ever, will be flying to the ISS. Axiom's 4-man team will lift off this Friday from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on a Falcon 9 rocket that was furnished and flown by SpaceX. The AX-1 team will be carrying equipment and supplies for 26 science and technology experiments to be conducted before they are slated to leave orbit and return to Earth just 10 days after launch. Axiom has contracted with SpaceX to fly 3 more missions to orbit over the next 2 years. Absolutely incredible. And you know what's going on, man. You know what's going on with the sanctions in Russia and the invasion of Ukraine and Roscosmos and rocket engines and who and what is going to be flying to the ISS and who is going to be controlling it. And you know what they were saying last week, Roscosmos, the director, he wants to sabotage the ISS mission. It's just like crazy. So our own rockets are now taking crews to the ISS. This is a big deal. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Robert Downey Jr. is 56 years old. Oh, I didn't do the big news, the other big news. Foo Fighters cleaned up all of their nominations. They won Grammys. yesterday. I just wanted to, best rock album, all that stuff. Congrats to the Foo Fighters. All right, Robert Downey Jr. today is 56 years old. Magician David Blaine, and he's good too, today is 48. And comedian David Cross, I think he's one of the funniest cats out there, today is 57. Our dead guy's birthday today is, a moment of silence, please, Gary Moore. 1952 to 2011, and died at the age of 58. Gary was a guitar player from Ireland whose career started with Thin Lizzy in 1974. Through the years, his playing style changed and went from rock, it went into metal and jazz and fusion, and then the blues. Always regarded as a virtuoso. He was the guitar player's guitar player, no question about it. And he is usually mentioned as an influence by any guitar player in an interview. So, he's Gary Moore, right? Gary Moore. And wow, he did it all. He really did. And he did it his way. During the early hours of February 6th, 2011, Gary died of a heart attack in his sleep at a hotel in Spain at the age of 58. In the world of guitar, there's a few, really famous guitars. Jimmy Page's Les Paul, right? You got that. You got Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstein. You got that. Jimi Hendrix's Strat that he burned at Monterey. Whatever, right? There's just a few things up there. And Gary Moore had the other holy grail. He had Peter Green's 1959 Les Paul, one of the most famous guitars in rock, and everybody knows about that guitar. Gary Moore bought that guitar from Peter Green, and he had that, the guitar. He had it. Happy birthday, Gary Moore. On this day in history, 1969, Martin Luther King is assassinated while standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. Fact or fact? Okay, here you go. Look it up. I know what you're going to say in just a minute. You're going to go, no. Look it up. Hennig Brand was a German alchemist who, in his quest of making gold, evaporated, boiled, and distilled human urine, which eventually started to glow in the dark and burst into flames. He failed to make gold, but he discovered the element phosphorus. I'm going to leave that right there. That's a fader fact. Look it up. Burst into flames. It's true. It's a fact. All right. Tonight we have a very special guest live from Sweden. Peter Tagtgren is here. Frontman for Hypocrisy and Pain. Well, not really for Pain. Not for Pain. He's a band member in Pain. He's just the drummer. He joined us live from Sweden. Tomorrow night, Flat Earth Dave is here to discuss if the Flat Earth is still a thing. That's right. We're doing that tomorrow night. Wednesday night, Don Ecker. That's right. Don Ecker is on this show as my guest. And Thursday night's another Fader night with open lines all night long. River Moon Coffee, rivermoonwellness.com. Fade to Black Blend, Game Changer Blend. This is Fade to Black Blend. In my new grinder that doesn't have static. Yeah, I got a static-free grinder. rivermoonwellness.com. Links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Truly the best coffee in the world. All right, here we go. You ready? So, you're out walking your dog. It's early in the evening. It's starting to get dark. In the sky, you see a bright light. Is it moving? You think so. And you try to think what it might be, starting with the most likely, right? Aircraft landing light? Is it Venus? Is it a Mylar party balloon reflecting the setting sun? Is it an iridium satellite flare-up? Is it something in your eye? Right? Right? Rubbing your eyes a little bit, you blink, you take another look, it's still there. You remember that you live near a military base, so maybe it's a top secret aircraft, or maybe some new drone technology that everybody is talking about these days. And then it hits you. Of course. It must be an alien scout craft dropped off from a giant mothership visiting our planet from Zeta Reticuli, piloted by 3 telepathic alien greys under an agreement with President Eisenhower in the 1954 Galactic Trade Treaty with the clandestine MJ-12 Majestic U.S. government group. And now it's only a matter of seconds before you're abducted. After which you're going to be paralyzed. You're going to be suffocated. You're going to be floating up in a blue beam of light. You're going to be examined and probed and fluids extracted. All with missing time. Because you show up at home 6 hours later with a pain in your crotch. You're not going to remember anything, of course, until you get hypnosis and regression therapy from somebody you found online. And later, you're going to find a small bump below the skin behind your right ear. And you're told that it was left by one of them. It must be an alien implant to track your location, your dreams, and communicate with you for the rest of your life. You just got to love our UFO community, right? And I know many of you are laughing right now, and that's fine. Some of you are saying to yourself, dude, yeah, that's exactly how it happened. That's pretty much it right there. And here's the deal. Most of my friends are pretty normal. They are. They have jobs, right? They are the people you visit when you see the doctor, right? They work on your car. Or they sell it to you, help you find a new house, whatever. You get the idea. Professionals from every walk of life. And yeah, that's who they are by day. At night, on the weekends, we hang out. We do. And each one of them has told me parts of the story you just heard. Yeah, some of the facts may have changed, but it's all pretty much the same. One afternoon back in the 90s, I was at my dentist's office for a routine visit, not that routine, and I'm in the waiting room reading my new copy of The Day After Roswell, when the receptionist, who was the mother of my dentist, says, "What are you reading?" And I tell her that it's a new book about the UFO crash at Roswell and the alien technology from the flying saucer. And she says straight away, she looks right at me. She says, "I was abducted by aliens in World War II. Now, it's one thing to have a researcher or an author talk about these things or watch a documentary about them. But it's something else altogether when you sit and have a conversation with someone face to face. Like the mother of my dentist while I'm waiting for a root canal. You just never know who has this stuff on their minds. You really don't. It could be just about anyone. And you never know who listens to this show. For example, Roland Emmerich. This weekend I watched 2 movies, and both were origin stories about us and our planet. On Friday, I checked out Moonfall by Emmerich, and let me tell you this, Roland listens to Fade to Black. I guarantee it. And then on Saturday, I watched The Eternals. Yes, I know it's another Marvel flick, but it's not Spider and Iron Man saving the planet. In fact, it's another origin story. And it starts back in Mesopotamia and ancient Sumer. And the story by Kaz and Ryan Firpo, who I'm pretty sure also listen to this show. Definitely both are worth a watch. They are. And again, I'm pretty sure both Emmerich and the Firpos were abducted by aliens from Zeta Reticuli. They just haven't talked about it yet. They will. Seriously. They know too much. Watch both films. Incredible. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. That's River Moon Coffee. RiverMoonWellness.com. Another great week coming up here on Fade to Black. Tonight, live from Sweden, Peter Tagtgren is here, frontman for Hypocrisy. He is a drum tech for the band Pain. Joins us live from Sweden. Tomorrow night, Flat Earth Dave is here. We are going to be discussing on this very program, is Flat Earth still a thing? And then Wednesday night, Don Ecker is with us for the first time. I cannot wait for that Dark Matters Radio. Don Ecker. And Thursday is another Fader night with open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. On the Game Changer and UNX Networks, Race Hobbs. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back with Peter Tagtgren right after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, folks. It's troubling times, and fear is pushing emotions, which in turn pushes health the wrong direction. Do you ever get an ache because life is uneasy? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea works on your digestive tract, helping to move food through quicker and comfortably so your health is spot on. Life Change Tea may not help with world issues, but it will help with your digestive issues. A glass a day helps keep the intruders away. So, change your life today. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. If your health game is off, get on by ordering Life Change Tea. Getthetea.com. And while you're on our site, look around at the great non-GMO organic supplements. And if you're a sales shopper, go to our specials page and see what's for you. I've been drinking the tea for 12 years, and I'm sure glad for its health benefits. Again, that's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. The tea that makes you go.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the UNXNetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the unxnetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UNX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time.
It's new.
It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. A huge week here on the show. Starting with tonight, Peter Tagtgren, frontman for Hypocrisy, drum tech for Pain, joins us live from Sweden. Let's watch Peter fall off his own couch. Tomorrow night, Flat Earth Dave is here. He's here to discuss, no, I'm not on the FE bandwagon. I would have done this if April Fool's was Thursday. I would have done that on Thursday, but nah. Wednesday night, Don Ecker is with us. Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Tonight, it's Peter, live from Sweden. We're going to be talking UFOs tonight, Disclosure, his new album release for Hypocrisy, and the upcoming world tour. Petish is a sweeter musician. Peter is a Swedish musician, multi-instrumentalist, record producer. He is the founder, main songwriter, lead vocalist, and guitarist of Hypocrisy, as well as the band Pain, in which he is the only member because he's the drum tech. He was also the owner. He is also the owner of Abyss Recording. It's an amazing studio, by the way, and co-founder of Lindemann, the music project between Tägtgren and Rammstein vocalist Rammstein and Lindemann. Tägtgren left Lindemann back in 2020. His music over the years has centered on UFOs, ET, contact, and disclosure. And Hypocrisy's new album is called Warship. And the cover has an illustration of an ET alien, that's right, with the correct number of fingers, in front of a Mayan pyramid. We're going to be talking about that in the design of that cover. Surrounded by crafts in the sky. Or are they from another world? All of that and much more tonight with Peter Tagtgren. I would like to welcome Peter live from Sweden. Peter, how you doing, man?
Hey, Jimmy. It's fucking great to be here.
Yeah. and now let's let everybody know. It is 4:30 in the morning in Sweden. And Peter and I, we actually did the interview this afternoon in that we talked for like 2 hours on the phone, having a great time. And he's like, man, I got to set my alarm, man. I got to go to bed. And 4:30 in the morning, and that's it. But you've got a beautiful home. You've got your studio. You got your wife, your kids. You're healthy. You know, it's only 4:30. You only got to do this once, right?
Yeah. I mean, so far, so good. So no, I couldn't sleep. I don't know. You know, sometimes your brain is just going, oh, you're going to get up in 3-4 hours. And yeah, I just couldn't sleep. So I took some coffee and just rolled my thumbs and just looked at the clock, just going very slow until it got till now. So,
well, you know, here's the deal. Okay, let's clear out a myth.
Yeah,
you're a rock and roller, man. This is your time of the night.
Yeah,
you are a heavy metal. You are a heavy metal rock god. This is your time.
No.
Right now, you can't wuss out on your fans. You need to tell them that right now is your peak.
Oh, God. Yeah, right now my brain is working.
Okay.
That's for sure. But other than that, I don't know.
Now, you've been very busy, and I will let everybody know. Peter and I, with another friend of mine, we got to hang out at the beginning of your last tour here in the U.S. We all know what happened since then. But we hung out, and that night we did go till like 4 a.m, actually, here in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Yeah, we stayed up all night, and but you played me. Now we can kind of talk about this stuff because now the album is finished and out. But you allowed me the honor of listening to the tracks as you were in the songwriting process. Yeah. Some stuff had vocals on it. I got to see a prototype or 2 or 3 album covers, which also you actually asked my opinion about, which was pretty cool too as well. And I knew that this was going to be centered around contact with ET. And the songs were there and everything else. Where did this interest come from? Where this thing? Because this isn't the first album you've done, and Disclosure, Days of Disclosure, is an incredible video and a song with the message, but that came out a long time ago. So you have been interested in this subject very deeply for a long time. Why?
I don't know how it started, to be honest. I mean, in the 70s, I remember once, me, Mom, and Dad, we always like took a ride sometimes, just jumping in the car and just going in Sweden somewhere. And, we would do that once a month or something like that just to get out. We didn't have any money for any expensive vacations and stuff. So, at least my dad had his own business. He was always working like I am. And so, that was the least we could do, to go out, buy ice cream or hot dogs or hamburgers and stuff. I remember once we came to a place, this city, like, I don't know, it's like 2 hours from my home. And they actually had a UFO museum. This was like in the mid 70s, late 70s, maybe even. And that combined with the close encounter of a third kind, things like that, it was just constantly something that was always in my mind, that I was fascinated by it. And the older I got, in the 80s, we had this paper in Sweden. This it looked like a newspaper, but it was called the Yellow Pages. But it was a whole paper, and you could buy anything in there. So you could actually buy VHS tapes from people who had old documentaries from America and all kinds of places, and you just collected anything with that. And then, of course, Communion with Whitley Strieber, one of 4 books I ever written in my whole life. So I'm not really a guy who reads books, but that one, my brother got it first, and he said you have to read it, so I started with a couple of pages, because my mind and everything is always flying everywhere else, so it's hard to concentrate to read something, anything.
So you collected UFO videos from the Yellow Pages?
Yeah, in the 80s, people who somehow got documentaries like early 80s, mid 80s stuff. And that's actually where I stole the intro for Roswell 47 that I wrote in 95.
Right.
It's from this, what was it called? Rendlesham from 1980 in England.
Yes.
I can never pronounce it. What is it called?
Rendlesham.
Yeah. So I stole that thing from there and put some keyboards behind it and stuff like that. That was in 95. It came out in 96. And 94, I wrote this on this album. It's called Fourth Dimension. I started going around with dimensions, what happens when you leave your body and your soul and things like that. I just started to, space out, so to speak. And when I finally started to write about it, it felt comfortable. so I just kept on going with different kinds of themes, left and right, you know. And End of Disclosure came out 2013, and it was, I don't know, people start talking about disclosure and stuff like that those days,
right?
And it also influenced me a lot. And
now
it just kept going like this.
Yeah,
it's hard to explain. It's a hobby, you know.
Well, there's something that I've noticed about you is that you study a lot. I know that you're being humble right now, but you understand this subject and you've done your research, and I know what kind of questions you have asked me. And so you have a genuine interest, but you're asking me these very direct questions because you understand the subject and you're trying to get to the bottom of this. Is that from living over in Europe, your approach to this? Because it's UFOs, it's contact, it's ET, it's ancient history, it's lost history, it's ancient aliens, it's also the pharmaceutical industry and everything else that needs to be disclosed, and the military-industrial complex, and the man running the world, and on it, right? Everything that falls under that. This is something. Is it because you're in Sweden and you look at the world a little bit differently?
No, you see all the weird people ruling their countries everywhere, and they're all the same kind of things, you know. You know, someone else ruling them. You know, it's the master of puppets kind of thing. And whoever owns the bank owns the world.
Have you had your own sighting?
Actually, no. I wish I did, but in the 80s, we actually went out to not too far from where I live. I live really secluded from everything. We used to go out on a UFO watching. And so we had this mountain. It's like 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet. So you can see very clear around everything, 360. And it's right out in the woods, you know. And I remember we were always so excited when we were going because you never know what you're going to see, you know.
Right.
And just by going there, it was kind of tricky because it was more you need to have a 4-wheel drive or something, because it was really, the roads were really made from these tractors that chop woods and stuff like that, you know. So it was kind of tricky. But when you finally got up there, you could see so much stuff and so far away. And the funny thing was, like, you know, we just lay on the hood and on the roof and just staring straight. It was so dark there, you couldn't even see your hand in front of you. But, you know, so you could see the sky so clear. There was no lights nowhere whatsoever. But in the beginning, we started freaking out because we started looking down in the valley on one side, and we saw these flashlights start going everywhere, and we were really freaking out. We're like, holy shit, someone is coming up the hill, and, you know, who the hell is it? And there was many of them. And finally, after a while, after driving, we drove like, I don't know, a mile from there, and then we stopped. No, let's go back. We have to see what it is. So we went back again, and then we figured out it's a road down there, and there was cars driving. So we were all confused because you only saw lights in the dark, and it was pretty weird.
So you ran like Travis Walton's logging crew.
Yeah, exactly. You start freaking out.
You start freaking out. Let me ask you this: the content. There's two ways to look at this. First off, the music is great, right? So you've got to have the music first. You got to have people tapping their toes, right? That's it. They've got to connect with the music. And the next stage is hopefully, right, they listen to the words, and maybe they go back and read the words and they learn the words, and then maybe you get to the ultimate, right, where they understand the message.
Yeah, exactly.
Does your audience understand the message? Are they with you on this when it comes to disclosure and UFOs and ET?
I think it's pretty split there. I think some people may not understand it. They like the music and they can get into it. And, since it's more death metal-ish, in the 90s, you could hardly hear what I was singing. You could just only read the titles and go like, oh, that's weird. But, I tried to define my vocal style, and on the new album, you can hear exactly, even though if it's growling or screaming or whatever, I really try to make it clear so you can hear exactly what I'm saying without, have to break your balls for it.
Right.
And I mean, there was when I came out with Chemical Horror in September, people were freaking out. That's a song that was written 2018 or something like that. And people would start freaking out and going like, this anti-vaccine dude, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, it's not about that. It was long before COVID came out. Not long, but a few years at least. So, and that's just about the pharmaceutical companies, how they make the money.
Yeah.
In one way or another, you need these pills. You don't need to go to a psychiatrist. You need those pills. That's going to help you. And we're going to make some money. That was really the basic message I had in there. That was like the core of the whole song. And, how it developed in the lyrics, I start pointing fingers left and right. And I remember you told me, oh, you're going to get in trouble with this,
did.
Well, yeah, but I only got it from comments on the video and stuff. People... But then they realized that was not the case. So,
well, I heard
some people were really happy that I enlightened the problem. Some people were only thinking, anti-vax.
Right. Well, the first time, I wasn't speaking out of place. So let's put this into context, though. Because you played me the very first versions of that track back in 2018, 2019. And then when you came to the States, you played me another version that was more complete. And you said, you got to check this out, right? Okay. But my comments were, back then, we were in the middle of the opioid pandemic and everything else that was the opioid pandemic, I guess it was. But we were in the middle of that, and this was before COVID. And I am constantly dealing with, and I realize the power of the pharmaceutical industry. And you're coming out with a song like that, and that was my point to you, man. The pharmaceutical industry can't stand anybody that is speaking the truth on this. And my comment to you was, are you prepared? And you're like, man, I don't care, man. It's the truth. I'm just doing the truth, and I'm doing my truth.
Yeah, I did a Will Smith on them.
Well,
but I'm glad I'm not big and famous. Then they will probably try to hang me for it. But since I'm still underground and still very anonymous, they don't care.
Right. Now, what about your audience? That you are, the famous John Lennon quote, right? I write songs for me. I don't write them for you, right? So these are songs that you write for yourself. If somebody connects with it, great, right? There isn't another way to look at it.
Exactly. I mean, it's hard to write lyrics for me. I really have a hard time to do that, to be honest, because I don't know what to sing about, because I think everything is boring, and it has to be something that really open my eyes or raise my eyebrows and go like, this is interesting. And I start to get into it. And I mean, I got diagnosed when I was 51 that I have ADHD, and I understand now where I come from, So, when you get really obsessed with things that you're interested in, and you just dive into it, and you forget everything around you. So that's the kind of person I am. It's the same thing when I write a song. If I like something in the song, I just go crazy with it until I am happy with it. If it takes 2 days or it take a month, I don't care. So I kind of lose myself in things that I get into. So I think that's also another thing for me with these, with anything with UFOs and everything that we stand for in this community is more or less something to get away from the music for me. You know, that's the only hobby I have, except old cars and stuff like that. I have a 57 Bel Air and Dodge and things like that. But other than that, you know, this is a relief for me, because then I can just go on my adventure into all these trails. I mean, I was listening to, Bob Lazar in the 80s, and I couldn't believe it, you know, and things like that. And of course, Bill Cooper is one of my heroes still. And so, I mean, all these things help me to get away from the music, because music is the only thing I know. So this is a good release for my brain to just fly out somewhere else. And it also helps me think about life, to be honest. There's a purpose somehow for me then.
Right, and you listen to the show enough, and certainly we talk a lot too as well. But I'm very happy that generationally we've got things covered. Right? Yeah. When I say kids today, I'm talking about 20 years old, 25. They're not kids; they're adults. But that generationally, they probably understand more about ET and contact and its importance than any other generation before. And that is in large part that's your audience too. That whole 20 to 30-year-old, they get it, don't they?
I think so. I mean, they're brought up on it now. It's not like in the 70s where it was kind of taboo and stuff.
Right.
Now it's everywhere. So for them, it's just like, yeah, of course. If they would see something come down, they would go, okay, yeah, I knew that. We would freak out. The oldies, you know, we're shitting our pants to be, you know, we would go like, I knew it. And they would just go, yeah, I knew that.
Now, you brought up Bill Cooper. I don't want to let that go. Yeah. We've got a few minutes before the break. Bill is a rebel. He was a rebel.
Holy moly.
Yeah. A complete rebel. I don't have to agree with most of his stuff or any of his stuff or all of it. It doesn't matter. The respect that I have for him for just doing it his way. And is that the way that you approach life too, as well? Is it why you look up to Bill Cooper?
Yeah, he definitely was a rebel, that's for sure. And there's a lot of things I agree with what he was saying, and a few things I didn't agree with, but that doesn't really matter. It's just the way how he laid it out to people. You know, you don't have to believe me. Go out and check it out yourself. He always said that. Check it out.
Right.
Go and check. He was not really trying to preach. He was more or less trying of what he thought was right, and then it was up to us to do research on it, and then we could decide. And that's what I liked with him. He was an eye opener, so to speak. You know, he was a true rebel. That's for sure.
Do you consider yourself? Oh, by the way, everybody, today, Peter and I, we were comparing guitar collections today, and just trying to see who is bigger. and here's the deal: do you consider yourself? Don't say a musician, Peter. Don't cop out on me. Are you a drummer? Are you a guitar player? Or are you a singer?
I'm a drummer.
You're a drummer.
To be honest. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't play for shit on guitar. I play what I write. And I always been really scared of getting better, because sometimes I think that can complicate the music. I'm more a AC/DC kind of guy, you know. I want the rhythm right there. And for me, that's very important. And of course, melodies, and it doesn't have to be Yngwie Malmsteen melodies, you know, super fast. It just, the hardest hardest thing to write music is to write simple music. That is the hardest thing that you can ask anybody. That is really the hardest thing, to write simple melodies and easy lyrics that everybody can understand, which not become silly. That is a craft that's really hard.
I think most of the great songwriters and musicians out there will tell you it's not the note that you play or write, it's the note that you don't play. Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's the
could be.
It's good. Give it that space, and writing space into a song is the hardest part.
Yeah, it is. But what I like about writing music is it's like a journey. I really don't know where it goes when I start with one riff, and that's what's fascinating. How it just builds up. You start with a riff or a melody, and then you put layers under it. Like a bass and the drums and stuff like that, and all suddenly, I guess it's like a guy who paints.
Right.
You start doodling around a little bit, and all suddenly it starts growing out, and after a while it becomes something.
When we come back after the break, I want to ask you about, because look, you're again just being yourself, and I respect that. You are one of the best songwriters I've ever been around, and you have an orchestral, majestic way of writing, and you see in 3D, and it will include, heavy keyboards and strings and this orchestral mindset. And so don't sell yourself short. You could try to, but you're not going to get that past me. And I want to talk about that after the break when we come back. And also, your studio, I got a complete tour of it today, and I've seen pictures of it in the past. Your studio is, when world class means one thing, there's nothing better in the world. Maybe even, right? But your studio is truly world class. That is an amazing, amazing studio. I mean,
thank you.
And you know that, right? I can see the love and devotion that is put into that place, and it's incredible.
Yeah, it's my little crypt. It's not small, but it's my crypt. That's for sure. It's my man room where I can sit and be myself, sort of, and enjoy. It's been a hard work for 30 years to get all this stuff, and
it's an incredible studio.
I'm happy. I'm really happy. Thank you.
Well, for a radio host, for you and I to sit there and you get to hear me go, dude, 1072s, 1073s, 1081s, dude.
Oh yeah.
Right? 1176. So these numbers, I know what I'm talking about, and when I see that in your studio, it's on point. It's an incredible studio. Incredible. Let's take our break right here. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, live from Sweden, Peter Tagtgren of Hypocrisy is here. Yes, he is indeed the drum tech for Pain. I'll be right back after this short break. Peter Tagtgren is here. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, BX.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hi, Race Hobbs with the X. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you have an interest in unexplained phenomena like ghosts, Bigfoot, and UFOs. And by now, you know that we have our own X blog, the UnX newsletter, and the UnX magazine quarterly. But most of you don't know that we have started our very own paranormal conference. And this year, for safety, this 2-day XCon will be virtual, so you can attend from the comfort of your home. XCon presenters include Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, Margie Kay and Preston Dennett, Lisa Martin and Wayne Lawrence, Lee Spiegel, Debbie Zagelmeyer, Dan Terry, Kate Grabowski, and Ray Hernandez. There will also be a live paranormal investigation by the Riverside, Iowa Paranormal Team. So come hang out with us in the safety of home as we set out to explain the unexplained Friday, May 13th and Saturday the 14th, 2022. And tickets are on sale now. Go to unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Race Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, live from Sweden, all the way from Sweden, Peter Tagtgren is with us. Of course, the producer, principal songwriter, frontman of Hypocrisy, and the member of Pain. And right before the break, Peter, by the way, Peter is in his studio, and during the break, he was showing me racks of SSL preamps. And, you know, I got to tell you, man, that's just not right. That's just not right. Right before the break, I want to get back to UFOs and Hypocrisy. But before the break, I did bring up you have a melodic sense about you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And when you go and listen to your productions and the songwriting, I immediately hear that. Musically trained, where does this orchestral lush thing come from?
To be honest, I have no idea. For me, it's same thing there. You paint a little bit here and there, and things grows out and it gets in a certain way. And sometimes when you start with a thing, with a song, it may not end up as you started. Maybe the thing you started, you take away because it doesn't fit anymore to the rest of the song. For me, with orchestra stuff, I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of classical stuff for a long time since I was a kid. I've been an all-eater. Anything from rock and roll to classic stuff. And I remember in the beginning of the 90s, I brainwashed myself with Vivaldi a lot.
Right.
You know, I really went into it with the Four Seasons stuff. Totally. My ADHD hits me again, you know. So for a half a year, maybe, I was just listening to that. Not only, but a lot. And somehow, you know, with keyboards and stuff in the 90s, all suddenly you had strings that sounded okay. So you start dabbling with that. And somehow in the 2000s, I really started to dig into it really a lot. So, I mean, on the last Pain album, I did like the Starseed song or Coming Home.
Right.
It has a lot of strings to it. And I had a friend of mine helping me out with the sounds because he has like a computer with the big as a refrigerator, so to speak, you know. He has a lot of samplings and stuff, and I sent him my melodies and stuff, and he helped me build it up as an orchestra and stuff. It was the same thing with Lindemann as well, to do, you know, brutal stuff, insane image, as you see, together with beautiful orchestra stuff. It's just like you try to, you know, shock in different ways, in beauty and also in the beast, kind of.
Right.
But for me, in general, it's just waves, man. Waves that goes, and when it hits you right, the waves, it's like an orgasm.
Yeah, sure. And you have a style now. You know, you have that Peter Tagtgren style. And is it? I'm not coming out of left field here. I'm being very serious. Is it Sweden? The melody, the choices. Is it too much nighttime? Not enough daytime? Is it you know, the weather, the atmosphere? Is that part of it too?
I have no clue. So many people asked, why is metal so strong from Scandinavia? Right. You know, Norway has their black metal. Finland has the more power metal, the more melodic. And Sweden has death metal, I guess, and also more poppy stuff like ABBA, Ghost, and stuff like that. But I don't know where it comes from. I have no clue. I know only that I'm really brought up on a lot of English stuff from the 60s and also American stuff, of course. I mean, you know, like Elvis Presley is one of my heroes. And I grew up on that. My mom and dad always listened to Beatles and Elvis Presley and stuff like that. So I got a lot of that stuff. And also, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I listen to all kinds of music. Any music that's good, I love it. It doesn't matter what it is. I love Shania Twain. I love Johnny Cash. I love Deicide. I love Morbid Angel. Everything that I consider is good.
Now,
I just listen.
I'll just make this comment, then we're getting back to UFOs. We have too much ET stuff that we have to discuss tonight. But you bring up a good point. You bring up Elvis Presley. And you sent me a bunch of the Pain stuff a few years ago. And one of the tracks, so I'm watching, I remember, I think I called you, and I was like, dude, I didn't know you could play drums like this. I knew in that it was almost a 50s swing Elvis jailhouse rock drum style, right? And it's the exact opposite of what we would expect from you. And you had this foundation in the blues in a band like Pain.
Yeah. I mean, Pain started off as a ego trip for me, trying to get away from Hypocrisy, because I discovered that I could write other stuff than death metal. And I didn't want to destroy Hypocrisy by changing style with it. So it became my one-man band show, so to speak. The first album was a really failure. I mean, I had something in mind, but it didn't turn out that way. It became more like heavy metal, stylish. I wanted to go for more industrial feeling to it, you know, more computerized samplers and stuff in the mid 90s, but I didn't have the equipment. I didn't know how. So it became more like a heavy metal album.
I think it's more, it's industrial blues.
Yeah, could be. But the second one and the third one, I actually started to get more gear so I could get the sound I wanted and things like that. So it kind of developed. I mean, Pain is, you never know what you get from every album. It's just it's a journey for me.
Now let's jump into the new album. It's called Worship. Heavy title out of the gate, right? Okay, so let's there it is, Shock and Awe, and the album's called Worship. And the album cover and that concept, when you first told me your idea, you had an idea. You said, Jimmy, what do you think about? I got this idea. And I was like,
I actually got it. I was in a hotel down at was it Ventura Boulevard I was staying when I was in the studio. Yeah, I was laying in the bed and I had an epiphany, or whatever you want to call it, about I didn't have a song or anything for the new Hypocrisy, but I had a cover in my head. So I started spinning around with this. I wanted, because for me, I think there's something with the pyramids. It doesn't matter if the Great Pyramids or if it's the Mayan pyramids or whatever. There's something there that fascinates me, and I'm not the only person, I guess. And I could just see, because we have these tribal that looks like a cross, and in the 70s, I remember Electric Light Orchestra, they made their logo into a spaceship. I think Boston did the same thing.
Styx.
And there was a few bad.
Yeah.
And I wanted that feeling back. So I converted the crosses to spaceships. And you should have seen, I had a napkin beside me at the bed, and I started drawing this thing. Too bad I don't still have it, because it looked silly. But you had this cross and these things, and I wanted people to raise their hands up to the pyramid and to the crosses, like the gods are coming back, kind of the creators are coming back.
Now, let's take this further. I want you to describe to the audience. You can go to hypocrisyband.com. All the links are there, and you can look at the cover of the album if you want to check out what we're talking about. But you chose to have an alien, an ET, standing in front of the pyramid behind this crowd of worshipers. Now,
yeah, and they're also aliens.
Yeah, they're all. If you look really close, you can see that. And now, the concept of the imaging, I should say, of your choice of alien race or species, right?
Yeah.
That was a big deal to you. So describe that concept and how you came up with this. I don't even know what to say. A god, an alien god.
I would say the crowd. I kind of reversed it, because a lot of people would say, like, "Yeah, we are the ones who's gonna worship the aliens when they come back." But I did the opposite. It's the aliens who worship us when we're coming back. It was just some idea I had, because I think in the future things will change. I can see it different from anything from interstellar kind of things where we go away, and yeah, you can call them extraterrestrials or whatever, pops up on Earth, because I think there's a lot of them maybe live in caverns underground. I think there's under the sea, still in the Earth, because the Earth is like a honeycomb, so there's a lot of huge caverns, and I still have this idea, fascination of civilizations that we never seen, that are here and been here for thousands of years underground. But also, if you look at the moon, it's not too far away from here, and that's a satellite. It's for me, in my world, I see it as a spy satellite to keep an eye on us a little bit. And it was moved in here.
Right, that's a whole
I don't know
other
how
show.
many thousand years ago, but I think it's definitely made not from a bunch of different asteroid crashing into each other or whatever. I think it's just I can't say man-made, but someone made it.
Yeah, manufactured. Now the what period is what year is the cover of the album supposed to be? Is that today, or is it 5,000 years ago?
No, it's the future.
It's the future.
Yeah, that's why the aliens are standing and worshiping us.
Oh, so they're coming back.
No, we're coming back.
Oh, we're coming back. See,
yeah,
now,
they're already here anyhow.
Now, see, that's the beauty of an album cover, right? You just brought this up. You look at album covers when you're a kid, and however you interpret it, however you resonate with it, that's your own personal experience. Yeah. So this is what I've been looking at your album cover now for 3 years, right? Let's not make any. I've been looking at this for a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought this was my thing, that this was when the Mayan pyramid was built, and that was 1,500 years ago in Central America, and the ETs were here visiting and being worshipped back then. That was my take on it.
Yeah, but that's too easy. Sorry, I have to be complicated. It could even be the Mayan people coming back, But no, my point was really.
I do have a simple mind, Peter. I do have a simple mind. So
me too. But I mean, I wanted it to be more than what meets the eye, And I don't know. Like I said, for me, it's fascinating. To just take your mind and just go banana. That's really something I enjoy. It keeps me sane from what the world is today, kind of.
And I wanted to ask you about specifically some of the tracks. And one of, Worship, I want to get to that. We talked about Chemical Horror, but I want to get straight to Children of the Gray.
Yeah.
And tell me about the idea behind that song.
Yeah, it's kind of simple. It's really how we screw up things on Earth. And it's, to make a long story short, it's like when we screwed up enough, they're coming back to reclaim the whole thing, so to say. I don't know how to explain to say, like, to erase us, kind of. When all the hopes are gone, you pave the way for the children of the gray. When you sold your soul to the man, you lose the game to the children of the gray. So I mean, yeah, when we're screwed it up enough, we basically give it back to them.
The atmosphere that we find ourselves in, this is why I brought that up. The atmosphere that we find ourselves today, and people always have mentioned in the past that the world is in flux. We need to straighten things out. Well, you know what? They've been saying that for 1,000 years. This isn't some modern concept, right? But truly, today, if we were ever in a moment of we need to snap to attention, it's happening right now for sure.
We're past that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I
right,
think.
right.
But, you know, the last thing that dies with you is the hope. So, you know, we got to stay strong and try to think a little bit more than our nose
and how do we
reaches.
How do we do that?
That's a good question. I mean, I am not a perfect example of that, unfortunately. I really don't know, to be honest. It feels hopeless sometimes, you know. I guess over the last couple of 100 years, we started to put it this way. I mean, Homo sapiens has been around for 200,000 years. So some people say like 150, some people say 300,000. And, you know, it started in Central Africa, I think, you know, and then it migrated up to Europe and then Middle East and then to America and so on. But the funny thing, you know, we were all kind of, not so smart and not so developed, but the last 200 years, it just went like this, boom. And all suddenly we somehow we got so smart, you know, from being kind of a cave people. No, but you know what I mean?
I do.
And I think someone has been tampering with our DNA to make us a little bit smarter, but I think they made us a little bit too smart. So now we're self-destructive instead. So that's also another thing I'm singing about, you know, that they're coming back to set things straight.
The concept of what you just mentioned, it's very hard because we have come so far so fast, right?
Yeah.
But it's very hard for people to understand when I say or you say, you know, 100 years ago, we're in 2022. In 1900, right, a lifetime ago, we were still using gas lamps. We still had horses and covered wagons.
Exactly.
And 60 years after that, we had Woodstock and Jimi Hendrix, right?
Yeah, and then a couple of more years, we were at the moon.
Yes.
So what's going on here? And, you know, a lot of people are talking about what they found in Roswell, you know, like optic fibers, lead stuff,
night vision
goggles,
right.
and things like that. So somehow they mean that we got a lot of help right there without even
having to
they
work
didn't
for
want to
it.
give it to us, but we had it already because we had some vehicles that were crashed and in our possession. So I guess we got a little bit of help there. And, you know, I always think, you know, are we working with them or are we not? You know, I know Linda always talks about these three different races. You know, one that's not so nice and two other ones. And, you know, they've been around for 280 million years and things like that. And, you know, for me, it's just like I'm in between all these things. I'm like, yeah, it could be, but no, it can't be. You know, things like that. It always hits me. I always have to think twice, you know, before I start, you know, writing about things like that. But I don't think they want us to know about them. I remember also I saw this let me think here. The guy from Israel, this space the
rocket director of defense forces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, he started talking about what we've been hearing for 25, 30 years. And it seems like he just heard it and he started writing a book about it. So it was kind of funny. It's like, yeah, old stuff. But, you know, what if it is true, what he said, you know, because we heard it for so long, this story that he was telling. And I don't know. Maybe he's right. Maybe they don't want us to know they're here. They want us to do our own thing, and they don't really want to interfere with us. They're more observing what's going on, what they have breeded, so to speak.
Could you handle? You haven't had your own sighting, right?
No, I haven't, unfortunately.
Could you handle it? Could you handle the real deal? You step out on your back patio, it's a night sky, you live on a lake, this craft shows up and it's right there and you and your family see it. The sighting, and it confirms everything that you've been writing and thinking about and research. Could you handle something like that?
I don't know. I mean, right now I think I could, but if I would stand there and see it, you know, if you push it even further, since I live out in the woods, it resembles a little bit Whitley Strieberg's things in the 80s, you know?
Right.
And I remember when I read that book, I didn't go to the bathroom, you know, at night. I just hold it till the morning when the sun came up. I was looking under my bed. I was checking my doors 1,000 times after I read that book. I got really paranoid. Sometimes it hits me because I like I said, I live so secluded and there's mountains around, and I always think about that's where they're going to come up. If I would ever see any lights or anything, it will be there. But I will probably be surprised it will come from somewhere else and it would knock me on my butt.
When I read Communion, and I'm not kidding, man, I read it like 3 times in a week. I did. I started it over. But in my bedroom, I had two walls with floor to ceiling, with these tall windows, right, with these white curtains. Dude, I was reading the book, but I could have one eye on a window. Right?
Yeah, I know the feeling,
man.
Exactly.
It was a bad couple of weeks for me. Let's take our break right here. I wanted to ask you. You are remote. Can you order a pizza? What do you do?
Nope, not here.
No, you can't, can you?
You have to go to the pizza place if you want anything. You got to go to the store if you want anything. There's no luxury like that.
You pay the price, don't you?
Yeah. Hey, I pay the price for freedom. I don't care. I'll eat dog poop if I have to then.
Our guest tonight, the one and only Peter Tagtgren, is with us live from Sweden. This is Fade to Black. We've got a lot to talk about tonight with Peter. They are in rehearsals, getting ready to kick off the world tour. I'll be seeing Peter in a couple of months here in Los Angeles. More with Peter after this short break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poranki, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Fadernauts. When you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Peter Tagtgren's live from Sweden with us, watching him play air drums in the commercial break. And that's Chris Frazier on drums. Just an amazing drummer. When those tracks were cut, he was in the studio with Steve Vai doing Alien Love Secrets. So both sessions were going on at the same time. And
was it the same studio?
No. Those, you ready? Okay.
Yeah, I told you about this production with this. It's amazing. The bass sounds amazing. The drum sounds amazing. The guitar sounds amazing. What did you do?
The drums were cut at the foot of Doug's bed in his bedroom.
Unbelievable.
That ADAT's home studio. Literally, when I say that, those were cut in, the drums were cut in Doug's bedroom. And, when it sounds right, and it's all about mics and placement and taping pictures to the wall so they don't vibrate, things like that. But, it was just one of those things. He's just a talented drummer, and he hits them correctly.
That's what I mean. Also, I recorded so many drummers, and you can use the same drum set, the same setups, but if you change the drummer, it will change the sound. And it's the same thing with a guitarist or a bass player. It's all in the wrists, and it's all in the technique, I would say. But no, I have to give you the hats off for the production on that album. It's, for me, it sounds really, really good.
Yeah, and very proud of it. I'm very proud. So you're in rehearsals. Hypocrisy's in rehearsals. We are sitting on April 4th, man. Your tour starts later this month in New York.
29th. Yeah, in Brooklyn, 29th. I'm still waiting for my visa application. They're not working fast in America right now, I tell you. But it will come. You know, it's always in the last minute. It's always like that. So, we're doing a lot of new old songs and also new songs from the new album as well. So it feels like I took a little bit over my head, to be honest, right now. So I have to sit every day now and remember old songs that we never played and old songs that we played maybe 10 times, 1994 or something like that. Or so there's a lot of, we changed completely our set list. I mean, there's certain songs that we have to play, you know, it's just the way it is, you know, the hits, so to speak. And also we wanted to bring in some old stuff that we have never played or we haven't played for 1,000 years and things like that. So my brain is going like on full speed and it just feels like I can't remember anything. You know how it is sometimes when you start panicking and you feel like, oh, the clock is ticking. And I haven't even stand up and start screaming and playing at the same time. I just try to figure out what the hell I was playing those days and what I played on the new album. Because when you write music, you sit on your chair and just punch yourself in on different riffs and stuff like that until you build a song. So you really don't have any concept of what's going on, really. You just, it's more, you don't get the flow like when you're standing in a rehearsal room trying to write music together. You know, that's how it grows and it sticks in your backbones, you know. But when you do it like this, I sit and program drums and then I start writing music and stuff like that. It's hard to get the reality in it when it's done.
Don't forget to pack your Fade to Black shirt, by the way.
Oh, I got it.
I'm just making sure. What I wanted to ask you really quick. What is there a difference with you at a festival, you know, flying in on a helicopter and going out and having 100,000 people in front of you, or a tour with 2,000 or 3,000 sold out fans? You know, what is there a difference on how you approach that?
Yeah, actually, I would say festival is good for your ego, but it doesn't really give you the energy back from the crowd because it's too far away somehow. You can't really take off your guitar and jump into the crowd because you will most likely end up breaking your neck on a speaker in front of you in the ditch, you know, between the audience and the stage.
Right.
So when you play clubs for, let's say, anything from 500 to 2,000 people or something like that, you can feel them. You can feel them breathe. You can feel the energy that they just feeds you. You know, it's two different things. And also you get sweaty, it's warm, you feel that you're fighting, you know, you really become an athlete, so to speak, you know, just to stay alive, kind of. And the adrenaline is insane what the crowd is feeding you. When you stand in front of 30,000 or 40,000 people or whatever, it just becomes a sea of sound. It's really hard to get direct contact somehow. So I prefer to do sweaty, tight places, you know, because then you know you're alive. You're fighting for your life to breathe and to stay focused, really.
Now this is a full tour. This is a full tour. You've got dates all across the United States. You're going to Canada too, as well.
Yeah.
What's it? The obvious question, man. We've had 2 years of lockdown. Yeah. The music industry really suffered, but tours are back and music is back. Are you excited? It must feel great to know that you're about to, you know, go across the United States and go through Canada and get your yayas out.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, this is the only thing I know how to do. This is what I live for. And when they take it away from you for 2 years, you really go into darkness for sure. And it's not like really I'm just going, oh, great, I have 2 years now to sit and write music. Forget it. I just didn't want to do anything at all. It just did the opposite for me. People say, yeah, but now you can be home and write music and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't care. I don't feel like it.
Now, you have a studio with everything in it. You got all the toys. I mean, literally all of the toys. Is that not motivation enough over the last 2 years to just go down and pick up a guitar or pick up some drumsticks and throw some new heads on and your head just wasn't there at all?
No, it wasn't there. I was not motivated for a second. It just felt like, what's the point? You start to feel pity for yourself and things like that. And I was just not in mood. Actually, last year this time, I actually started to wake up again, and I felt like, okay, I need to bring some joy somewhere. So I wrote Party in My Head with Pain, just like a one-hit thing, and just to motivate people to smile a little bit. It's kind of funny movie. I don't know if you've seen the video.
I have seen it, and it's great.
Little Lebowski feeling into it and stuff, and just to get a smile on people's face a little bit. And the song is about being locked up at home, and you have a party and you have an itch. You want to go out and get drunk and do what you normally do, into bars and get thrown out or whatever, things like that. And but you can't, because you're locked up at home. And that was when, it was the worst, when everything was locked up everywhere and everything. So I needed to, I think, partly for myself to just ventilate, and also to, like I said, bring some joy to people.
Now, the concepts, I want to get inside your head a little bit on this. The concepts of videos.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing. And you have always, and everything that you have ever done, every video, you've gone through the labor of writing the songs, producing, performing on it, singing on it, right? You've got to deal with all of that from beginning to end. And then there is the video, which is a whole, and the concepts and the care that goes into every video that you've ever done, and it doesn't matter, is extraordinary. Is that coming from you, or is it a director that you're hiring and you give them free rein?
I think in the past I just went, okay, do something good with this, and they're like, "What's the song about?" It doesn't matter, just make a good video, And the later on, in the last 10 years, I really started to care. And actually, I was involved in, I wrote the video that Peter Stormare was in when we were up in space with Lindemann. I wrote that script from the beginning on a plane going home from doing another video with Lindemann, Stay Off, where Peter also was in there. And I just had this idea that we're going up to space, and I wanted actually Till to be my wife. It was supposed to be very weird, but
I can see that.
But he didn't want to play a woman, so
I can see that.
We kind of, in the end, he jumped in a little bit and changed the script with me. But overall, that's the video that I was, a script writer and co-director. I was on every
shot,
shoot, every shoot. I was really into it, and it gave me a bloody tooth to get into it. I mean, all the Lindemann videos was always extreme in one way or another, and that also taught me to really be picky when it comes to videos after that as well.
Well, they're so cinematic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and the visualization, the songs, like you said, right? You have beauty and shock, right? You have the combination of both. Well, the videos do that too, where they are artistically, you look and you go, oh, that's about as good as it can possibly get. And then there's a scene where you go, oh, whoa, hold it, right?
Yeah. I mean, Soran, the director who did most of the videos, not the one that I'm talking about. I can't even remember what the hell it was called. Anyhow, Soran, he has a freakish mind, and it's easier to trigger him to go crazier and crazier and crazier. And me and Till, we had no boundaries, and we both are kind of damaged goods when it comes to things, So we were just going more extreme, until a point when I think it went maybe too far. I don't know. And but we were pushing the envelope to see how far we could go.
Now, let me ask you. You personally, I'm just talking about Peter.
Yeah.
You now you're stepping across the line about your own image, about what you're doing, and how you are presenting yourself in this video. You're crossing the line, but you don't care. It's also art. Right? Did you ever feel like maybe I am taking this a bit too far, or is it just art? And before you answer that, every time that there has been some kind of shocking moment, you guys actually pull it back, and the video ends okay, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, I can tell you, I had to pay a lot in my village. Put it that way. When we did the first video when we were pigs.
Yes.
And the director, we were supposed to do it with Jonas Åkerlund, if you know that guy. He did Madonna, he did Prodigy, and a lot of things. He's very high class. But somehow he backed out, and so we got Soran, who did Mayan with Rammstein, that video. And the first thing he said to us, you guys are pigs. And we're like, what? And yeah, if you look at Praise Abort, that video, we are pigs. And yeah, like I said, when I went to the grocery store, people were chasing me around. How could you do this? I'm like, what? What kind of video is this? How can you do this? I'm like, I don't know. It's art. So yeah. We heard a lot of things after that, and then, you feel like, okay, let's take it another step and another step and another step and, provoke a little bit.
There's a lot of provoking there, for sure. I mean, even for me, I was like, whoa. But in the end, it's okay. It's that roller coaster ride that you take visually through this. But I am sure even Rob Zombie would have went, well, okay, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I guess. It was fun when we did it, because we had a chemistry, like we could just look at each other, and that influenced me to write something, and then it influenced him to write lyrics to it, and it was a crazy time.
Yeah. It was all fun stuff for sure. Now back to the tour. What do you do to prepare for this? It's not Hypocrisy is simple, technical. You've got a lot of things that you have to prepare for as a band. I mean, it's got to be, first off, it's got to be like the record. You've got your fans out there, so you've got that part of it. And you certainly have rehearsals, but there's the technical side and the stage show. How do you get all of that done? And are you guys going to be ready?
You will never be ready, but as good as it gets, I hope. Technical part, you have to figure out the sound, because you want people to have a good sound. I mean, us in the band, we can't really control over what's coming out of the PA. We hope we get a good sound guy that can deliver what we want to deliver to the audience, of course, and lights, all these things. And that's like secondary right now for me. The first thing is for me to remember all these songs, because there's so many melodies in all these songs, different melodies and different ways how to play them. And it's not super fast melodies. So if you have plenty of time in between the tones to screw up. And when you screw up, it's going to hurt a lot. It's going to be disharmonic. And so slow melodies are worse to play, because if you screw up a little bit on these slow melodies, it's going to be awful.
Now, what do you...
So you kind of on your toes all the time until you feel comfortable, and when you get the muscle memory in your body, then it just goes like a train.
Now, what's your touring rig? Do you bring 15 Marshalls and 20 stacks with you? Or
knowing the Malmsteen this time, No, actually not. We're, since not been a major band that can choose and do whatever you want, because money is infinite, you always had to make sure with overweight and things like that, and the budgets here and there. So we've done a lot of smart things that you can fly in a rig. The only thing you need is drums, and then you can do anything you want. So, learning by doing for many years. And yeah, the sound is going to be great. I promise you.
But I'm asking you as a guitar player, what's your rig? What are you going to take with you if it's not going to be 20 Marshall stacks? What do you run through?
I actually gonna use a camper where I made my own sound via Marshall 800. What is it? 2205, and simulated it. And live, I think no one's really gonna hear a big difference. In the studio, I would never use a camper. I use the real thing. But for live, it's easier for us to carry around. And in the past, we had like 4 Marshall heads and 8 cabinets with us, and it was a nightmare because you get this humming stuff when you connect 2 heads together at the same time, the ground humming and things like that. It sounded like a nuclear facility when it was all quiet in between songs. And so you try to perfect it. A lovely sight on stage. I grew up in the 70s, Marshall stacks wherever I could meet, that's the most beautiful thing to see on the stage. But, time changed, and, now you try to do with side drops, back drops, and lights and stuff like that to get more 3D feeling into it.
Sure. The dates, you're going to be in Los Angeles on May 15th. I can't believe it. It's going to be, this is like 4 weeks away. You're going to be out here. Do you have a preference, before we get to the break, what's the difference between East Coast and West Coast? Because you're starting out in Brooklyn, right? Yeah. It's a different crowd. Then you come to Los Angeles, and you're also playing Canada. Is there is there a difference between East Coast and West Coast?
To be honest, not really, because I think when you were there in LA, it was pretty rowdy crowd, right?
That was an insanely rowdy crowd. Yes.
Yeah, and people say they're more softer on the West side than the East Coast, but I don't know. I think it's getting really mixed together now. I really, when I think about it, I don't think there is a difference, to be honest. I think they're just as loud anywhere in America.
The tour itself, with do you feel that because of the pandemic that you may not see, this goes across the board, this is theaters and restaurants and music venues and sports, do you think that people are anxious to get out of the houses, or do you think that there may be some still may be hesitant?
That's a good question. I don't know. I can only speak for myself, and I'll take the chance. I mean, if you're vaccinated and you feel safe, and just go. You know, what can happen except you get the sniffles? You know, I had COVID and still vaccinated. It doesn't really matter. You know, let's not get into that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, if you feel safe and you feel you're vaccinated and everything, why not go? Yeah. I mean, I don't care if you're vaccinated or not. For me, it's up to yourself, you know. But, you know, for safety, for yourself, for your self-confidence, I don't see a reason why not go out.
Now, before the break, I have to mention, our fellow drummer and friend, Taylor Hawkins, left this earth last week. Yeah. Pretty shocking news. How did you take that?
That was very unexpected. I was also very shocked. I couldn't believe it. First of all, you want to know how and why. You know, why did this happen? And that was really shocking.
Did you ever get a chance?
Very talented man.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to hang out with him?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately,
yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, just a very funny guy. Very, very cool. And the thing about Taylor, I mean, I didn't know him very well. You know, we were friends and acquaintances, but it's not like I hung out with him every day. But anytime that he was around me, and even with the Fadernauts, just you know what, just an honest guy, right? Yeah. Just like real. Yeah. And it just felt weird to have somebody that had such a positive vibe about him that was projected into the public. I really feel that guy that the public knew was who Taylor was, and that wasn't fake. And I think that is one of the reasons why we took this so hard, was because he was such a funny, honest, and open person.
Yeah, and very talented as well. You seen him singing Queen songs and stuff like that. You know, he was a huge Queen fan, I guess. And yeah, really talented.
Let's take our break right here. When we come back, we'll get back to the UFOs. That's right. We're going to talk about End of Disclosure. That album was released in 2013, right? Yep. That was almost 10 years ago, Peter.
Damn.
Yeah.
Time flies. My hair is just getting grayer and grayer.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, The X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes non-fiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
Why is it we're not very good with our health regimen until it's too late? We don't put oil in the car until the engine blows up. When the body's out of balance, your health is not so good. Give your body some love. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Try our Life Change Tea, which cleanses you from harmful intruders. A clean colon is one of the ways to bring the body in balance. We also carry organic supplements to help you get where you need to go. So do your body a favor. Log on to GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. You can even visit our sales page to save some dough. Does anybody call money dough anymore? Anyway, log on to GetTheT.com, shop, get balanced, then learn some cool tips at Health Matters Now. You'll be glad you did. That's GetTheT.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code F2B
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of Forbidden Knowledge, and we're heading to Egypt this October. Come join Jimmy Church, myself, and the Forbidden Knowledge team as we spend a week exploring Giza, the Great Sphinx, the Great Pyramid, Saqqara, Dashur, Aswan, Edfu, Dendara, Karnak, and we'll celebrate Jimmy's birthday in Luxor. The Forbidden Tour of Egypt is this October 5th through the 12th and includes a 4-day Nile cruise, expert Egyptologists, and a chance to explore Egypt with Jimmy and I as your host through your journey of a lifetime. Space is limited, so make your reservations now. Please visit forbiddenknowledge.com for information and complete itinerary. That's forbiddenknowledge.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poran Gi, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Peter Tagtgren joins us live from Sweden. Tomorrow night, Flat Earth Dave is here. We're going to be discussing, is Flat Earth still a thing? Wednesday night, we are joined for the first time with Don Ecker. You're not going to want to miss that, too. Big week here on the show. Tonight, it's Peter Tagtgren. And Peter, End of Disclosure.
Yeah.
Released in 2013. It's 2022. You have been you have been concerned about this subject for what seems like forever. Are you surprised to see where we are today when it comes to ET and contact and disclosure and what is going on?
You remember, Jimmy, when I think it was 2017, December 16. You and I were talking about what came out because I was in LA at that time.
That's right.
And that was the first. I think it was the first time I was on the show for like 10 minutes or something, and we were talking about this. And I was still, I don't know. I wasn't like, wow. I was more like, yeah, but it's not really anything because it came out 2004, the Tic Tac thing. And for me, I don't know. I was hoping in 2013 that it would have rolled a little bit more. Of course, the subject is more on everybody's lips nowadays, but still, I don't see any proof. I don't see any really good results, to be honest. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I still say BS because it's not happening, and I don't know. I mean, I don't want to sound skeptical, but, right now it looks very dark that anything is going to happen, to be honest. It's just running around in circles, kind of. They feed you a little bit, and then they make you work for it for many years, and then they feed you a little bit more, and then make you work for it again. That's how I see it.
In Sweden, well, you have the internet, so you're able to, right, check out Fade to Black or anything else inside of the UFO community. You can do that. But what's the vibe in the Swedish media? Do they cover the subject like it is being covered by the media in the United States?
They did a little bit with the Tic Tac, and also when the Israeli guy came out with his story a year ago, or whatever.
Right.
And they do it also. They did it also when this NASA guy was sitting and talking. I can't remember his name. This old man, a few months ago, and he was talking about that there's more to it than what we know and things. You probably remember. I can't remember this guy's name.
You're talking about the administrator of NASA?
Yeah, the old dude. He looks like he's almost falling apart. What's his name? It looks like he's been around the block.
Are you talking about Bill Nelson?
Could be.
Okay.
80s or something. In his 80s.
Oh, man. Okay, no, we're talking about somebody else. Bill Nelson, the administrator of NASA, 3 or 4 months ago, gave an interview with a university, I think it was Virginia. I could have the state wrong, but he did this. It was an interview on politics and NASA with the political department at the university. But the last 10 minutes of the interview, he went straight there about ET and contact, and he was convinced that something is going on and that NASA is on top of it. And it was whoa, man. It was.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Okay.
I don't think old guy, right?
Yeah, I don't think he's in his 80s though. I think he's about 60, 65.
All right. Well,
and I'm 58, so don't call me old.
Hey, I'm not too far behind, but yeah, but anyhow, they cover pretty much the same thing for sure, but I live on the net, so I'm in the community, so when someone burps, I know it. And same with you, same with everybody here.
Right. And the word disclosure, and if end of disclosure and that concept and the video, it's covering all things disclosure, right? It's not necessarily just UFOs and ET. And you were, again, this was 2013. This was at the front of the disclosure movement, and you were right there. For you, what does disclosure mean?
For me, it just really means proof, It doesn't necessarily means that they should land on the lawn of the White House or anything like that. It's just solid proof, not these half shitty pictures or videos of something. Like it could be a bug on a window or whatever, or reflection from a window to make it look like something. So I mean, I just need solid proof. That is my disclosure, I would say.
Wait, are you referring to a government announcement?
No, I want to see something that I can believe that it's real. It doesn't matter if it's a video or whatever. I mean, the government, some people in the government knows. 99% of the government has no clue at all.
Right.
But we all know that already. That is not a new thing. But I'm not really saying that someone should come out, like Lou is doing. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that as well. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. But something more than just someone goes out and say like, yeah, this is true, this is that. I want to see some proof.
Well, okay, so let's go back to my question with you at the front of the show, which is you step outside on your patio, boom, it's right there.
Yeah.
Is that disclosure for you? Would that be disclosure?
Yeah, but then I start going like, hey, wait a minute. Is that the Navy or is it a UFO? Well, what is it? I mean, of course, UFO means like, unidentified flying object. But I'm just saying, like, is it from Earth or is it from somewhere else? So that's the next thing that's going to come to my mind if I would see something with my own eyes.
There's a strange divide, I think, not only inside of our community but the rest of the world when it comes to this, Peter, and that is when I say I don't need disclosure because I've seen what I've seen, that's offensive to a lot of people. Where in that disclosure to most is the president getting up and making an announcement on live TV. That's what they need for closure of disclosure, right? That's the only thing that's going to be good enough.
Yeah, but I mean, that's maybe people who are not in this community. It's not enough for us, I think. For a normal person who doesn't really follow this, maybe that will be a disclosure for them. But for us, we will go,
right. And there's another part of the conversation that needs to be had, and that is the direct contact, the abduction phenomena, and those experiencers out there that have been talking about these things for a very long time. And what is going on right now with the government is everything but that, right? And it's got a military side of this. How do we approach the abduction phenomena moving forward, which is something that you have covered and written about and so forth?
Yeah, I did this song on the last album, Bug in the Net, with Betty and Barney Hill, because I thought it was kind of fascinating story, I mean, a lot of them is saying it's pure horror, it's an experience that will never go away. Some other people are more fluky about it. I don't know what to think about it. Maybe it's how you are mentally shaped, how you take it, Maybe some people can't be shocked, put it that way, and they see things and they just go, yeah, whatever. Or, other people are freaking out. I mean, when you read about abductees, how they, most of them are in terror, pure freaking out. And it's only a handful that say, I was...
It was great.
I didn't... Excuse me?
It was great. I enjoyed the experience.
I mean, but that is another thing that's kind of important as well. What's going on there? Is a government who's abducting you and shooting you up with some, I don't know, LSD kind of trip kind of thing, so you lose your mind and you think you're abducted by something. They feed you shrooms, or you know what I mean. So there's I always see things in two ways. It could be true or it could be bullshit. I always put these things in. All the stories I hear about anything when it comes to this subject, I always have to divide myself in, nah, I don't believe in this. And the second one, yeah, I do believe in this. And I always have to, because otherwise I will lose grip, I think, if I don't discuss with myself the positive and the negative thing about these cases.
Why do you think the government, the United States government, is suddenly, at least the front side of the public is interested in the subject suddenly, and and they're starting to ask questions. You know, the UAP task force and reports and the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Gillibrand Amendment, Susan Goff and the Pentagon and these announcements. And suddenly it's a conversation. Why do you think this is happening now?
I think those people who are addressing to this matter is people that maybe a little bit younger and not born before the electricity and stuff, you know, that mainly is in the top offices. I think they also are curious what's going on.
Ooh.
And I think it becomes maybe a little bit personal to them as well to figure it out. And on the other hand, also to win some points, maybe whoever can figure it out first will become some kind of hero or whatever you want to call it. But I think it's genuine and interest, you know, in the government as well. Maybe they feel they've been, you know, screwed over by their colleagues as well. You know, that the people who has the, you know-how and things. So
you're suggesting that's an interesting take, if I'm understanding you correctly, that it's a generational thing, that this is a younger group that is coming up and they look at this subject differently and seriously, and they're fighting the older generation above them, but that doesn't want disclosure for their own reasons. And is that what you're suggesting? And that's pretty interesting if it is.
Yeah, it is. And I think, you know, the older generation are more religious as well, and they don't really want to rub the balance what it is. And I think the younger generation is more, I don't know, free thinking kind of. And I think maybe some of these people as well, I'm talking a younger generation, 50s, you know, not the 80s, but that's how it is right now. And I think they generally has an interest in it. They're curious. They want to know what it is. And they hear all the rumors that the government knows, but they're in the government and they don't know. So they start getting curious as well. And that's just my theory, you know.
Somebody just posted, was asking if what cities in Canada. I want to get this in before we get out of the end this conversation. You are literally going across Canada. You've got Montreal, you've got Toronto, you've got Winnipeg, Regina, Edmonton. And then finishing it out on the West Coast over in Vancouver. So that's a full string across and march across Canada.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Now, okay, so back to this.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No.
Also, another thing with UAP, what the hell is that? Is it a cover-up for been lying about UFOs, so they had to rename it so it doesn't feel so bad when it crawls out later on?
You read my mind, because there's a reason for this, for the sudden interest, right? The government is our friend, all of a sudden. So there's a reason for it. And to suddenly call everything UAP when UFO has its immediate identifier, Peter, right? Immediate identifier. We all know what a UFO is. And
they're covering their butts. That's all there is, because then they can say, well, UAPs are real. We never said it wasn't.
There's a reason for it. I think there's and now let's suppose that the drama happens, right? Mm-hmm. They go straight up. Okay, we're being visited. Disclosure, and I keep going back to the way that you have dealt with it in your own songs and your own approach. Disclosure is big. It's not just one thing. It's not E.T. is here. It will have so many layers of the onion that have to get peeled back now that the government is going to have to deal with an endless amount of questions. Endless. It's just not one.
And also the cover-ups, that's been around.
Which is my point.
How can you? Well, I would say like, hey, that was the other generation. That's not us. Sorry, But it's not that easy, because a government will never admit they lie, no matter if they were not in charge at that time or not. They will never. That's just like rule number one. Once you become a politician, never admit that you lie.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah, you're right, though. So what about Roswell? That wasn't us, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was the other generation.
That was then.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to talk about 2004 forward. That's the period that we're talking about, because everything comes into play here. Everything, money, fossil fuels, weapons, technology, free energy. Can you imagine if? Yeah,
but just imagine this: if you're sitting on technology that you can rule the world, do you want to share it with someone else? No, of course not.
Never.
That's why you keep it in the defense. It's very simple.
I said something once, Peter, and I realized it was kind of offensive, but it's really the truth. The President of the United States is going to always lie about this. You can't. How can you, if you are sitting on alien technology, right, and you have the answers to this question, that's a secret you're going to take to the grave, right? Why would anybody be surprised about that?
Yeah, that's something we have to learn, to accept that, unfortunately, it can't come from the governments. It has to come from somewhere else. Either ET itself just go, okay, it's time now.
Right.
You all just stand and watch, and accept it. Or I don't know what else, but I highly doubt that it would come from the government or NASA or whatever. I highly doubt it. It will come whether they like it or not, if it comes.
Does the world freak out?
I don't know. That's the question. I know I won't freak out. At least I don't think so. But, there's other generations and there's other people who has no interest in this, and they're more focused on their everyday thing and don't really think as wide as we do. So maybe they will freak out. I really don't know.
You brought up a really good point. Going back to December of 2017, you and I were together, and we were talking about this subject. And I was pretty surprised that the world didn't lose their minds. It seemed pretty almost natural. Right? I think that the reaction was, so? Right? What do you expect? There's no way we could be alone in the universe.
Of course we're not. I mean, we're just a little grain of sand in the universe, not even a grain of sand, a grain of grains of a sand. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, of course there's got to be life somewhere else. But the big thing is, like, how do you travel in between these distance or through dimensions or whatever, that is the tricky question. But on the other hand, you've seen the revolution for us 200 years. Let's say there's a civilization that is 500 years ahead of us. I wonder where we will be in 500 years. Maybe it will be just like talking on the cell phone to teleport yourself somewhere else on the earth. So I don't know. I mean, the universe, who knows how big and how long it's been around. Nobody can really say for sure. They think the Earth has been 4.6 billion years, and only the last 200 years we actually learn how to wipe our asses with with paper,
Right.
So it's, you have to think also, if they're so advanced, there's got to be civilizations that are a lot more advanced than us, but also on the opposite way as well. So, I mean, you just have to know where they are. And I think, yeah.
Do you think, what side of the fence are you on? Are you a nuts and bolts physical craft somehow getting here? Or do you think it's interdimensional and it's not the speed of light, it's the speed of now, right? And that's how where do you stand?
To be honest, I really don't know, but I think the way people are describing things like the Greys, I think they're robots, and somehow with their ships they become one, so to speak. I don't know if it's plasma or different dimension kind of in and out things. I really don't know, but it's so hard, it takes you as far as your fantasy goes, how far you can think about it. I would say. I think it's not just one thing. I think it's many things. Even if it's nuts and bolts, I still think they can go through dimensions and things like that.
Do you follow Avi Loeb? The professor from Harvard. And he's got the Galileo Project right now. And he had the book Extraterrestrial. And if you've only read 4 books, well, make it 5.
All right.
And read Extraterrestrial by Avi Loeb. He talks about Oumuamua. And
okay.
Right? And that's what the book is about, presenting the data behind supporting that is not natural, that it was our first visitor from interstellar space. But the reason why I bring up Avi Loeb is here he is, an astrophysicist, theoretical physicist from Harvard, pushing this ET research. And this hasn't happened, at least this dramatically, like ever before. And is that a way to approach this and not have the government involved?
Definitely. I think it should be more privatized, because as soon as you have governments involved, there will be a lot of cover-ups. There will be a lot of things that you can't say. You won't be able to do this or that, and they will sit on the secrets or whatever it may be. I think, to privatize it, to make people, educated people that knows what they're talking about. Not me, like sitting and rambling and fantasizing, but people who actually know what the hell they're talking about. Those are the people we need to bring out.
Does Sweden have its own Roswell?
Good question. They had a lot of sightings, but it was never really in one spot in the 70s, 80s and stuff like that. I really know more about sightings around the world than except in my own country, to be honest. But there's been a few, you have I remember in the 70s, 80s, they had this UFO community kind of thing, where you got your monthly paper news things and stuff like that. But to be honest, I focus more outside Sweden, to be honest. Now when I think about it, maybe I should start focusing. But it's nothing really happening now in Sweden that's interesting for me. It's all in the past. It's not like a Roswell thing or anything else. But yeah, I would say, kind of boring.
One last.
But I tell you a funny story, though. My grandmother and my father's sister were out driving, and they were chased by a UFO, to be honest. And my grandma, before she passed, she said, she always thought she saw it again after that.
Wait. You waited till the end of the show to tell me that? What happened?
We're going to.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah. No, they actually. It's a funny story. I mean, my dad told me that first, and then they also told me.
Okay, what happened? What happened?
They were out driving somewhere, and they were going from A to B. I can't really remember. And my father's sister was driving, and Grandma was sitting beside, and she was like, "Look at that! What is that?" And they said it actually chased them when they were driving the car, and was kind of, diving against them and moving away and things. It was fascinating. Yeah, it was a light or some sort that came up close to them and then disappeared again and came down again, and they were driving for their life. They were really scared, and it disappeared. And my dad said that Grandma saw these things a couple of more times afterwards and before. So I don't know if she had some genetic, I don't know, like how can you say it? A magnetic thing to it.
A conscious connection.
Yeah, something, because she said she saw it many times, but never like in your face but there was always something, not always, but many times. Something around.
I mentioned this earlier tonight at the opening of the show. You just never know who is going to talk to you about this stuff. You just don't know. You cannot dismiss it. And did you talk to your grandmother about this?
Yeah, I asked, is it true? And she said, yeah. And my dad's sister was sitting beside. It is the truth. I mean, I saw in their eyes, they were serious. I was like, holy moly. And this was like in the 80s when they told me about that. And I was like, holy, okay. Wow.
And did they describe, I know you said it was a light. Did they get a good look at it?
They just said it was this light following them and was, diving against them and away again and things like that. And it was pedal to the metal, when she was driving. She was trying to get away from it. They were really scared.
Did your dad see it?
No, he never seen it.
Okay.
Any of it.
Your dad was with them, or was it just your dad?
No, just the two of them.
Oh, it's just the two of them. Oh, I get it. I get it. I thought you said your dad was with them too as well. That's incredible.
No, he was telling me about the story, and then I had to confront them and said, was it true? And they were like, dead seriously. They were like, yeah.
Well, see, and that's the other part. See, that's the other part of December 2017. It's not necessarily about the secret government program or Tom DeLonge, Lou Elizondo, and it's not necessarily about that. But what it does start is the conversation. And now there are people out there that would have never, I've experienced it, that I've never talked to about UFOs before. Now,
because they think they're going to get locked up in the cuckoo's nest,
Right. And so, now it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, we all welcome more stories from people, to hear new aspects of things.
Man, why do you think it is that we're only hearing the military side of this? Would you be surprised, or would you want the Senate Intelligence Committee to hear from civilians and from their side?
I think, we probably have a preconceived thoughts about, the government knows everything. Maybe they don't know anything. That's another thing, and maybe that's why they started getting interested now, because they trying to collect all these stories and try to make sense out of it. Maybe they have no clue at all. Maybe it is like this guy from Israel said, that they don't want us, they don't want to be known. They want to do what they're doing, that they've been doing for hundreds of years. And, and when they get caught, that's when we get the stories.
But shouldn't they hear from people like your grandmother?
Yeah, but there will be a lot of people to listen to, you know.
Isn't that the point?
It is, but it's still, we have no disclosure. We just have a lot of witnesses, but still you have nothing to touch. That's what I'm missing. You know what? When the TikTok came out, I just saw a black blip just going crazy. You know, it could be anything or whatever. And then you hear people talking and whoa, and this and that. Sure, I can make that in my studio. That's no problem. And so it's, you know, I need better proof. And I think also that's a reason why nobody jumped and went like, wow, because the pictures was not the best. And the way they presented it wasn't really that strong either. How they, you know, came out with it, and it was in New York Times or something like that. It was kind of fluky, you know. It wasn't really like hitting the big drum. So that's also another thing why nobody was freaking out or hardly raised their eyebrows for it, you know.
Yeah.
Except us in the community, we were like, "Yeah, let's go."
Let's go. I lost it, man, and you know my attitude back then. I mean, I truly lost it, but there was a reason why I lost it, because of my research and interviews with people and what the government knows and what they don't know, and everything else all piled all at once. I'm coming at it from that perspective, from that mindset.
Definitely. I mean, you know, this is what people have been talking about, and finally something is happening. I understand. But for me, it was just like, okay, what's next? What's next? And there was no next thing, you know, so I got really pissed.
Yeah.
I was expecting, you know, it start to unveil the whole thing, you know, but it never did.
No, you're right about that. One last question.
Mm-hmm.
Les Paul or Stratocaster?
Well, I'm a Jimmy Page and Ace Frehley fan, so I have to say Les Paul.
Why don't you play them on stage?
It's so heavy, it's insane. My back is not the best in the world. Never been. Otherwise, I would have played it. Trust me.
Have you played the weight relieved ones?
Yeah, but then it's not the classic Les Paul.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. But look, I have both, and I have to say, the weight relief, dramatic, right? And it feels different because of its lightness, but it also resonates. And really, nobody knows but you that it's lighter.
That's true. But on the other hand, you know, Fender, I mean, Jimi Hendrix, come on.
I know.
And so many guitarists playing Fender as well. This is a thing you can't win, you know. Which one should you pick?
You know what's weird about this conversation? The guitar players out there that I think have a really unique sound, Jeff Beck, right? Richie Blackmore, Yngwie, right? Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? You go to anyone, and they have this unique thing about them, all Fender. Right, it's really, and all white Fenders too as well. Maybe that has something to do with it.
But I mean, Fender has such a distinct sound. You can hear it from anywhere that it's a Fender. You know, it has this sound that nothing else. You know, it's so unique compared to a Gibson. I don't know if you can hear if it's a Gibson or if it's I don't know, ESP or whatever, or
a humbucker's a humbucker.
A little bit trickier.
Yeah. You put that when Eddie put the humbuckers in his Strats.
Yeah.
Then it was great and it was creative for sure, but it's still a humbucker. Now, but here's my other question for you though. When we're talking about guitar styles, Is there, for you, you play ESP on stage and you play an Explorer on stage.
Yeah.
No, I should say an Explorer shape, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Snake bite.
Snake bite. Do you play that style of that body style because it's comfortable on stage?
Yeah, actually it is. It's really good to lean your arm on the way it sticks up on the back. And plus I have my guitar very low. So it's comfortable. But with Pain, I play actually with the Eclipse. That is a copy of Les Paul, the body.
Right.
It looks the same. So it's a little bit different for different riffings. I see Pain more like AC/DC, hot-rodded a little bit, and with Hypocrisy is more riffing, like a little bit more complex. I mean, it's still not complex if you compare it to other bands, but it's more complex than compared to Pain. So these two guitars has a different feeling for the different styles of songs I do.
Now, here you are, the heavy metal dude, and you're in your studio right now.
Yep.
There's Telecasters in there. Now, that you can't be an OG heavy metal guy with Telecasters, can you?
Well, look at the guy in Slipknot. He's playing a Telecaster.
you just got to go there, don't you?
I had to go there. No, but I actually use the Telecaster for when I do slow songs with the picking on it, because the Telecaster, when it comes to clean sound, is nothing beats it.
And what year are those Telecasters? Are those new? Are they vintage?
There's nothing really special with them, I couldn't tell you, to be honest, what years they are. It's like I said, it's not really anything special. But the special thing with them, it's a Telecaster, and when you put it up on the rhythm mic, you get this twang that you can't really get out of any other guitar, and that when you do slow songs with a lot of picking, like I said, get a little bit chorus on there and things like that, it just sounds like $1 million.
Now, I'm going to see you in 4 weeks, young man. Who are you guys touring with?
Karash on Green, The Agnostic, and oh God, now you put me on the spot here. I've just been so self-concentrated on myself. I hardly don't know any anymore. But there's a 4-band bill that's going around, and yeah, you're going to see some cool shit, that's for sure, from all of them.
Man, I can't wait, man. And we're going to hang out, break bread, eat, drink, be merry, and just have a great time. I look forward to it. Safe travels coming over, and I just continued success, man. The album is amazing. And for everybody out there, you can go, it's very simple. Go to hypocricyband.com. I've got all of Peter's links up there, but all of the tour dates are right there on the homepage. The album is there. The tracks are there. It's called Worship. It's unreal. It's great. It's fantastic. Safe travels. And I'll see you in 4 weeks here in Los Angeles.
Definitely, man. I can't wait to get out again.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
Behave and be well, my man.
I'll try. I'll do my best.
Peter Tagtgren. Peter Tagtgren, Hypocrisy. Again, it is hypocricyband.com. All of Peter's links are right there at jimmychurchradio.com, painworldwide.com, and, of course, hypocricyband.com/live. Everything is right there. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church on jimmychurchradio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can, right now, get your free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at jimmychurchradio.com.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? Unex Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNXDB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
This is Billy Carson with ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Forbidden Knowledge TV has just reached its 1-year anniversary. That's right, 1 year. And as a show of appreciation, we are giving all new subscribers a free 30-day trial of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. That's 30 days to binge watch thousands of movies, documentaries, conferences, workshops, lectures, yoga classes, meditation courses, and so much more. So log on to ForbiddenKnowledge.tv from your computer or mobile device, or get the Forbidden Knowledge TV app on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play today, and use coupon code 30daysfree. That's coupon code 30 days free on ForbiddenKnowledge.tv today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I want to thank Peter Tagtgren. Just an amazing conversation tonight. And during the break, he walked over to his window and showed me the sun coming up. He pulled an all-nighter with us, and just a fantastic conversation. And so much to unpack there, but I'm going to say this. I mentioned earlier John Lennon's famous quote, I write songs for me. I don't write them for you. If they've changed your life, that's fine. But I write songs for me, right? And that's what Peter does. And when you go, and I invite everybody to do this, go watch the Hypocrisy videos, go watch End of Disclosure, go watch some of these videos and listen to the songs. And you suddenly realize Peter writes for himself. And these songs about Contact and E.T. and Us, and the new album is all about that. It's called Worship, and go and check it out. And if you get a chance to go see Hypocrisy on this tour that is coming up immediately, they're going to be here in the United States in a couple of weeks and starting things off in Brooklyn. Go and check out Hypocrisy. It's something that for me, when I go and I watch the videos and I'm reading the lyrics, Peter is our community. And I went out to dinner with Peter, and I posted pictures of it. This is a few years ago, but we sat for 5 hours and talked about the phenomenon and Contact. And how important it is, and that not only disclosure, but we're not alone in the universe. We simply are not. And for Peter to not only be so personal with his concern and his emotional connection to all of this, is not only great for our community, but I need to stress this: his fans at Hypocrisy is a big band, and they're an important band, and they have been around for a long time, and his fan base is huge, and for them to get this message coming from Peter, I not only do I think it's great, but they get it. And it's another generation or two underneath me that gets it, and I just think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. Again, go and watch the videos, and you just think to yourself, this is somebody that is on our team, that is getting this done. And the other important subject tonight that I brought up, not only in my opening rant, but we talked about it tonight, which is you just don't know today. You just don't know who wants to have this conversation now. It is happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. The conversations are out in front, and this is a public thing now. This is no more this taboo subject that is not to be discussed. You can't bring this up. You can't talk about it. You're going to get laughed at. No, it's not that kind of party anymore. And I really need to stress, not only with this conversation tonight that we had with Peter, who is an important musician out there, and very talented, not only as a musician, but as a producer, and certainly his film work is just incredible. There's that part of it. And then I need to really bring this home, where I watched these two movies this weekend, two huge budgeted mainstream films. And I'm talking about Moonfall by Roland Emmerich and The Eternals, which is a Marvel film. And both of these films, I'm not going to, no spoilers here, but these are origin stories. Wait a minute. Hold on. Pump the brakes, right? Eternals It starts off in Mesopotamia in ancient Sumer, right there. Right there. Just pump the brakes. And you need to go and see how they deal with this. Now, this is a film for the world. I mean, there's people way outside of our community are watching this. That's great. But it's who is writing this, and where does the story come from? Where are they getting their information? Our community isn't private anymore. This is no longer a Sitchin thing, right? This is, inside of our community. This is now worldwide. Now go and watch Moonfall. The ideas behind this, and Roland Emmerich was one of the principal writers. Of course, he's the director of this film. But you listen to what is being presented and how it is being presented. No spoilers. I'm not going to go there. Just go and watch it. And this conversation that we have inside of our community is now going down worldwide. Now, back to my point. So, family sees film. All right, they leave the theater, and suddenly mom and dad are having a conversation that you never expected, right? And you're like, what? Wait a minute. What happened? Where were you? What's going on? That's what these films are doing. And I just have to question everything. It's because of the concepts and the way that it is being presented in these origin stories. You can even go back to Prometheus and discuss that aspect of it too as well. But these two films are out now. Go and watch them and think about the way that I am speaking about it. I think it's absolutely incredible. So there you go. Will you talk about UFOs or just music? When? What are you talking about? That just came up in Twitter. This show was always about UFOs and music. Those are the two things that motivate me. UFOs and music. I've often wondered. When you walk into an office building, you get on an elevator, you're shopping in a supermarket, and you've got music, right? You've got this piped in music coming in. It's everywhere. It doesn't matter, right? We've got music everywhere. So what happens on an ET ship, right? 10,000 light years of space travel. Is it just dead silent? Right? Or are they piping in music? Do they listen to music? They have to. They've gone through the same evolution that we have. So they had to have gone through theater and comedy and the arts and films, television, right? They had to go through the same processes. They must have had bands, right? They have to. They have to pipe in music. They have to. E.T. is we're the same DNA. It's got to be the same. It's got to be the same. So that's what motivates me. UFOs and music. Great show tonight. I want to thank Peter Tagtgren coming in, pulled an all-nighter for the Fadernauts. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are Renee. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitola, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast owned and copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, Flat Earth Dave. Is Flat Earth still a thing? Well, we're going to find out tomorrow night with Flat Earth Dave. Until then, I want everybody to be safe. It's time to fade to black.